before, and I've heard the very arguments against. I'll just be quick. They use I forgot the name of the actual manuscript of the Greek uh, uh, Revelation chapter 1. It's more or less defaced, right? And I've seen some of the Unitarians try to say that the first and the last is not there. It is actually there in the text in verse 11, if I'm not mistaken. So if they try to say by in terms of how the Greek is in the text, it is actually there. So if they try to make it sound as though it's not there in verse 8, in verse 11, and I think also in chapter 21, it's there.
You
So
know, it's
that's just
also in
some,
verse 18, I believe.
yeah,
It's in
yeah,
multiple times, and that's why I asked him about his Bible, because in his Bible, where it's red letter, it's there.
yeah, yeah. So in 8 and
Yeah,
11,
1:8, 1:11, and 1:17, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, in let me just pull it up. Yeah, first one. And you should be correct. I mean, I live it. I'm forevermore. I have 17. Yeah, yeah, for my face. And yes, I'm the first. Yes, actually, it's there. Correct. Verse 17.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
So,
I, I went to the school. It's called the School of Prima Scriptura.
no, you know, we have heard this one before, right? We have
Yeah,
heard,
I
yeah,
know.
we have heard that when they say no, it's not, it's actually there in the manuscript text. So some people try to say it's not there, and even the interpolation of whether or not the which is to come. And I know this is where you ended with him. And my only question was, when did the Father ever say he was going to come?
In verse 4 of chapter 1, Revelation chapter 1, verse 4.
Right. So is that a literal statement, figurative?
I think it's actually saying, I mean, I'm not sure, but I think it's maybe just saying his eternalness of he
No,
was
no,
and
no.
is to come. He'll always be.
You
Like
were
I think.
exact with the text when you were saying that there's no first and no last. So I'm saying whichever have we had an inference that the Father is coming, unless
That's what that is what the day of the Lord is. I thought
mm, the
we will
which
see him face
is
to face
it's
at that
no,
time.
just now it's him, which is and which was and which is to come.
Yeah, and who
So,
is that in verse 4?
so is there a
Is it the
time when
person in verse 5, or is
no,
it the
that's not
person in verse 4?
no, you're making the person in verse 4, right? I'm saying
Yeah, who
because
is that
you're saying,
person to you?
yeah, so that's
Can you
not
tell
you're
me?
saying, yeah, so you're saying that the person here is the Father. That was
Is that
your
who is it to you? Is it the Father to
right.
you?
So based on the description, did the Father say that he is to come?
Yeah, right there he did.
Uh, when? Is there
Right,
any
right
other
there in
reference?
verse 4. Right there in
Mhm.
verse 4. If you read, Revelations, it's the
So
Father
who's
upon the throne.
so
The
who
whole
is
the whole book.
so that's not so who's speaking here?
Did I lose internet
No,
or did
no, I
you?
said who is speaking?
Well, if you read verse 1,
Hmm.
it's a revel. This is another kind of proof to me Jesus is not God, because
Hmm.
God knows everything already.
No, here's my
Uh,
question. Who was speaking here?
yeah, that's what I was trying to answer. But
Okay.
I gotta get up on the topic because you gotta go to verse 1 to know, like, it kind of tells you. But verse
No,
1,
who does
Jesus receives a revelation. God doesn't receive revelation. He already knows all things.
mhm.
Jesus
No,
doesn't
here's my
know the
question.
end from
No,
the
here's
beginning. He
here's my question.
receives the revelation from God
Right. So
in
here's
verse
my
1.
question. So here's my question. Based on verse 4, you said that it's the Father here, right? So I'm asking, who is speaking, calling him which is and which was and which is to come?
Hey, real quick, let me say this too, because Steve, this argument that you were making about in Exodus that you can't see my face, that no one can see his face and live. Well, we also know that God is spirit. So when you take all this into consideration, like, I could be wrong, but it seems like to say that be, as humans, we cannot physically see the infinite, immaterial God. But we can, if he decides to, show himself physically.
And also in Genesis 32:30, Jacob wrestled with God, and Jacob said, have seen God face to face and lived.
And lived. That's Genesis 32:24-32.
Yeah, but he didn't literally see God's face, though.
So he lied to us. There's another one lying in the
It's
text.
not a lie. It's an
Who,
expression.
who
It's
was
an
he
expression.
wrestling with then?
He's gonna say an agent. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was an angel. Yeah, I
Who's
can
the
actually
ancient?
show. I can actually show you it was
All
an
right, let's
angel.
be quick. Who's the ancients of days?
That's the Father only, not the
Okay,
Son.
so the in vision is Daniel not seeing a description of the ancients of days?
Yeah, but the Ancient of Days is the Father only in that passage.
No, no. I'm asking it. Does he see a physical representation of him?
Yeah, but it was a vision.
Okay, and
You know, it's like a dream or vision. It's not
well,
actually.
here's the point. When HS told you that God appeared, you said it's like the wind. In the vision, now you're saying it's okay. It's just not real.
But you understand my you understand why I do that, right?
I know you don't believe Jesus is God. I appreciate that.
No, that's
No
not why.
problem.
That's not why I do that.
But
Has
I
nothing
still
to
want
do
you.
with that.
But you still didn't answer my question in terms of who was speaking in verse 4 in Revelation. I know
I
we got a short time, so that's why
yeah
I'm still
that.
waiting for the
So
answer.
it's John saying, blessings and peace essentially from God the Father, the spirits before His throne, and from Jesus Christ.
So it's John who is speaking here when he says, John to the seven churches.
Yeah,
You realize that
from
don't make
the
sense in the
Father.
text, right? No, that's not.
eh,
You saying that it's John who is calling the Father witches, but you realize the text begins by saying John to the seven churches, which are in
Yes,
Asia. You know that don't
yes,
make
He's
no
the one writing the letter. Like,
no, that's not.
huh?
The person who is speaking to John.
In verse 4, someone's talking to John and saying,
First,
"Hey, John."
right. So you're saying that it's John speaking.
I thought it was. I just looked at it a second ago. I told you guys I don't have my bike. Like right now, I'm driving my car home.
No problem.
Let's see, John. I'm reading John
Hmm.
to the seven churches. So it sounds to me like John's writing a letter to the seven churches.
Hmm.
Grace be to you and peace from the Father, from the spirits before His throne, and from Jesus Christ, the faithful witness. That's how I
So,
read the passage.
so it's John speaking here.
It sounds like it to me.
No
If I'm mistaken, correct me.
songs like. Well, if I tell you that it's someone else, then you're not gonna believe me.
It looks to me like John is the one writing, and he's saying, John, blessings from not myself, but from Him who's on the throne, the seven spirits before His throne, and from Jesus Christ. He's giving
Hmm.
greetings from them.
Hmm. So
That's how I'm reading it.
so you're reading it as John speaking here.
Sounds like it to me when I read it.
And if I tell you how you read is not correct, would you believe me or
Uh,
not?
depends if I can
Because you're still
if I
saying,
can if I can see it. If I can see it, like I can't be dishonest with myself. If I don't see it, I'll just say I don't see it. If I see what you're saying, I'll say, oh, I see it.
okay.
You know.
So here's what I'm still zeroing in on, right? Because you're saying that this is the Father here. It says, "Peace from Him, which is, and which was, and which is to come."
Yeah,
Right?
that's the Father on the throne. Yeah.
How do you come up with that?
Because if you read Revelation chapter 4,
Hmm.
the Father is the one on the throne. Jesus is in the midst of the throne, like the beast, all the heavenly beasts and creatures. They're also in the midst of the throne, but it's the Father on the throne, and this is from Him who is on the throne,
Where
and
where do
also
you
because
see
all.
where do you
Okay,
see
here's
throne?
another.
Where do you see throne in the text there?
Yeah, does it not say Him who's on the throne in verse 4, Revelations 1:4?
No, it says John to the seven churches which are in Asia, grace
Yeah.
be unto you, peace from Him which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the seven spirits which are before the throne.
Yeah, so it says His throne, before His throne. His is referring to Him which
No, it's
was and
talking
is
about
and
the.
is to
No, that's
come.
not. You was the one who separated the ands, right? So it's and
Yes.
from the seven spirits which are before the throne.
His, I don't know why my translation says his. I don't know. King James,
Mm.
verse
No, no
chapter
problem.
1, verse
No, no,
4.
no problem. What I'm
Who
saying
is
is,
his?
no,
His
no, no.
is the
Wait,
one.
wait, wait. That's not. I'm not worried about who is before the throne. I'm trying to identify who is the which is and which was and which is to
That's the
come.
one on the throne.
Where, right. So I'm
That's the
saying
his.
where.
That's
That's
his.
not.
His
That's
is
not.
the which.
So here's
His
my
is connected
question.
to he which was and is to come.
Right. So I'm saying,
Yeah.
where does it say here that he is on the throne?
Well, it's his throne.
I, I,
Obviously,
I,
God's on
I,
his throne.
we all know it's God's throne. I'm saying, does the person who you identifying here as the Father, did it say that? It didn't, right? You're implying, and this is the thing about Unitarianism. You would always add to the text from what the text says. All I'm quoting is from him, which is, which was, and which is to come, right? Now, here's my question. If this is the Father, right? And he is, and you're saying that this is John speaking, do you think that John is thinking that the Father, right, which is and was and which is to come, who is really to return? Is it the Father or is it Jesus? Man, I got another call again. I know we got to wrap
Well,
up, but yeah. So I don't know if
Brother
anybody else.
Steve, you got to,
Mhm.
do you have rebuttal? You got anything to say? Because I'm going to give you your opportunity to share, and then Prima, I'm going to wrap it up, and then
Yeah, I know
we
you.
Okay.
got to wrap it all
My
up.
my thing. Yeah. Verse 4.
Mhm.
He which was and is to come cannot be Jesus, because Jesus is distinct from him. He gives a greeting from him and from the spirits which are before his throne and from Jesus Christ. He's giving a greeting from three different entities: the Father, the spirits before the Father's throne, and from Jesus. That's how I read the passage.
Right.
That's all I got to say.
So here's what I'm asking you, right? If this is John speaking, when did the Father ever tell John that he is to come? Where would John be getting this theology from that the Father is to come?
Tell me.
I'm just asking. You're the one who's saying it's the Father. I'm saying
Well, here's the
I'm
thing.
saying I'm saying that's
I'm
not.
not even.
I'm saying that's
I
not. All through the gospel, Jesus said he's going to return, right? So he is the one who is to come. So I'm
yeah,
asking you, based
but
on John being a disciple of Jesus, and Jesus saying this many times, right? That
do you
is
do
it.
you think I could?
Is it Jesus is to come or is it the Father is to come?
Do you think that there's any verse in the Old Testament where Yahweh says that He's going to come?
Yes, I can find a lot of them.
Okay, so what's the problem? I don't understand.
Right. And I'm saying that's the Redeemer, that's Jesus.
No, I'm saying I asked you the question. The Father. Is there any verse in the Old Testament that
Mhm.
the
Did you say
Father
Father
Yahweh
or yeah?
says
Oh yeah, no, you said Yahweh, right?
Yahweh is the Father?
No, that's no. You asked
You
me
don't believe
Yahweh.
you don't
No,
believe the
wait.
Father is
That's not.
Yahweh?
No, that's
Yahweh
not.
is the
Let
Father?
me just clear this up. Did you say Yahweh or did you say Father the first time? 'Cause I think you
They're
said Yahweh, right?
synonyms.
Wait.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
not.
name of the Father.
No, that's not. I want to be clear. So if I misspoke, I will correct myself. But I'm saying in your first question, didn't you said Yahweh?
Yeah, Yahweh.
Okay, right. And I answered and I said, yeah, I can find verses in scripture. And I'm saying Yahweh is to come. I got no problem with that.
Yeah. So do you believe the Father's ever going to come in the day of?
No, that's not. You've been skipping and running. I asked you to tell me when, if it is in John's understanding, if it's Jesus to come or if it's the Father to come. Because this whole thing, this whole
That
book
is, yeah.
about
In my
this whole book,
understanding,
that's not this whole book of Revelation is about Jesus coming, right?
yes. But
About the
he which
event.
was and is to come. That phrase.
Mhm.
This person has a throne. He's on the throne,
I'm
obviously.
not worried
But
about
even
it. I'm not worried about whether or not if he has a throne. My
In
question.
John, when
They-
he writes about he who was and is to come, it is not Jesus, because Jesus is not mentioned until verse 5, and he also gives you a greeting from Jesus, but that person isn't Jesus. They're distinct from one another. He which was and is to come, and from the spirits. The spirits aren't the he which was and is to come. The spirits are different from he who was and is to come. And also, and greetings from Jesus. Jesus is not the spirits. Jesus is not he which was and is to come. These are three distinct persons, but the spirits are maybe more than one. That you see what I'm saying? Like
I,
I don't know how to.
I hear what you're saying, but
So you
you can
understand
continue.
how I read it? Yeah.
No,
Now show me
yeah,
why I'm reading it wrong. I guess.
because I'm asking you based on the fact that the book is about Jesus' return.
Yeah,
The
but how
event.
does that?
No, that's not. The entire book is named the Apocalyptic, right? The Apocalypse of John or the Revelation of John of events before who returns. And I want to be quick because Albert got to wrap up. So the entire contents of Revelation is about what? About Jesus' return, right?
Yeah,
Right. So why would the one which is, which was, right, and which is to come? Now, the which is and which was, we don't have time to go into that, but I'll just deal with
because
the which is to
he.
come, right?
Yeah,
So I'm
because he
saying,
is
so right. So I'm
distinct
saying in
from
this
Jesus.
book, so I'm saying in this book, when it begins, right? Who is the book about?
It's a revelation
Of whom to come?
which Jesus received.
No, that's not of who to come. Who is the book
Your
about to
your
come?
your question is irrelevant.
No, I'm
It is
asking.
irrelevant.
That's not the book. Let's deal with
So
the
you're saying
content.
if Jesus is coming to
No,
destroy the world and claiming
no, that's
fire and
not.
vengeance,
I'm just asking. The
God
book.
can't come. The Father can't come. They both
That's
can't
not.
come. That's not
No,
possible.
no, that's not. Here what I'm asking. Based on the book, and we could close put a pin and wrap it up. Based on the book, who is the book about to come? Who is the book about? About the person.
Even if it's about
I'm
Jesus
just
coming
okay.
back,
Is it about Jesus
and I,
coming back? Yes or no?
but that has nothing to do with
It
the
has.
fact that Jesus is in verse 5 and he's not the person in verse 4.
That's not. That's your
Has nothing to
interpretation.
do with that.
That's no.
It's
That's
not
your
an
interpretation.
interpretation.
That's your
It's not an
interpretation.
interpretation.
I'm asking based
So
on
you
the
think it's
fact.
saying Jesus twice there? You think it's saying from Jesus and from
No,
Jesus?
no, no. That's not. Here's what I'm zeroing in on. I'm zeroing on which is to come. Right in John's mind is the person who is he is describing here, meaning that is to come.
And are you asking me about who is the person in verse 4?
In verse 4, which is to come. You're saying this is the
That
Father.
is the
From him,
Father.
right? From him, which is, which
Yes,
was,
yes,
and which is to come. So
yes, the
if
eternal
it's
one.
him who is to come and the book is about Jesus' return, then who would the title belong to? The Father or
It,
to Jesus, which is to come?
God can be the eternal one, which
No,
was and is
here's
to come.
here's what I'm asking. Based
And
on
Jesus can come back.
your
And those are not mutually
no,
exclusive.
that's not.
Those are
You
not
real
contradictory.
right, that's not. I'm not asking whether or not. Here's what I'm asking. Based on the book.
Can someone else tell me what he's saying? Do y'all understand his argument? And y'all could explain it better because I
No,
must not understand.
so that's not the statement you're quoting as the person, him, from him in verse 4, from
Yes.
him which is the title, from him which is, which was, and which is to come. The which is to come in the verse, is it literal or not?
Uh, what do you mean by literal? Do you mean
When
what
the
do you mean by
title
literal?
says, right, which is to come, does it mean that the him, the person whom you say is John here, no problem, which of him which is to come, is that person, the him who you say is the Father, is he coming based on the book?
Yes, God is coming. The
The
Father is coming in
the
wrath
fact
in the day of the Lord.
So
and
so
he
so
will
so
send
that's
his
now
angels and agents.
based on the book. The book is about who coming.
Bro, pay
The
attention.
No, that's not.
Pay
I need
attention.
you to pay attention. The book is
I
about
I
who
need another
coming.
speaker.
No, 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 no,
Because
no. You're
we're
not
just
gonna run. That's
this
not.
is
You're not gonna
this is
run.
not okay. I'm running.
The
I'm
book
running. I'm
the book
running.
is
I'm
the book
running.
is about who to come.
No, you win, man.
The-
I don't because I can't understand you.
You don't want to
Honestly don't
understand.
understand you.
And
Son,
this
I
is the
don't
thing
want
about
to.
Unitarianism. When I break
I've
it down,
told you what I've read,
right? You tell me,
and
show you where you wrong, right? And I'm
you
trying to
think
show you.
you think it's saying from Jesus, from the spirits which are
That's
before Jesus' throne, and from Jesus. That's what you think it's saying. According, that's what I'm understanding. So,
you
am
did.
I
That's
understanding
not.
you?
That's not. You said Jesus is in the throne with the Father, right? Correct.
Say what?
You said earlier that Jesus is in the throne with the Father, correct? You made that
No, no.
statement earlier.
The Father is on the throne in Revelations
You
4 and
said
5.
this now.
Jesus is in the midst, in the chapter, in the book of Revelations. So they're at different locations. Jesus says,
He's in the midst
you
of the
know,
throne, or is he on the
yep.
throne with the Father?
No, God is on the throne in Revelations.
And
Jesus
where?
and the heavenly beast and all the heavenly creatures are in the midst of the throne, and they're different words.
Okay, so you're saying that he's before or he's not on the throne. Which one?
He's in the presence of it, yeah,
Okay,
but he's not on
you
it.
want
That's the
you
Father that's on it in
listen.
Revelations.
This is what
Reading the whole book.
I want to be respectful to Albert time, but I just saying this is where we have cognitive dissonance, because up to now you can understand your own definition of the him which is to come. So I'm saying
Yeah,
if the book is about Jesus who is to
non
come,
sequitur, non sequitur.
how does the title of which is to come, John is now confused, and this is by your
It's
interpretation. I'm
not
just reading
confused
it.
because he's not saying Jesus two times. He's not saying from Jesus, the spirits before Jesus' throne, and from Jesus, which is how you're reading it. He's not saying that. It doesn't make
All
sense
right,
to
I'm
read it
about
that
to
way.
Yeah,
interfere because
yeah.
now it's
No,
that
yeah.
time.
Albert, thanks for having me, brother. No problem.
No, of course, brother, of course. Brother Steve, appreciate you pulling up. Do you have anything you'd like to share or plug before you get out of here?
I just want to say, love you, Albert, and I appreciate your time. And I hope maybe you and Mike, maybe you could get on his channel sometime, or him back on your channel sometime. I felt like a lot of times Mike didn't get to. There's times he was trying to go somewhere, but it kept getting off from where he was trying to go, especially when he was trying to point to Hebrews chapter 2, verse 4 or 5. He never really got to get there. But yeah, it's good to sometimes when we get in debates, it's good to try to hear the other person all the way through, and I pray I can do that for y'all. Show you all the respect to hear you all the way through, and vice versa. But you know, Unitarians aren't like really Trinitarians, where if you're not a Unitarian, we just think you're going to hell. Probably because most of us used to be Trinitarians. Besides, I guess any Unitarians that were raised that way, but most Unitarians of the most well-known ones today used to be Trinitarians. But anyways, God bless you. Thank you for the time on here. Do pray for me to understand if I am erring, as y'all would say that I am. Then I would obviously want to see the truth, and you know, and I pray that we could all come to unity of the faith and speak the same things, be the same mind in judgment. And God bless you guys, man.
God bless you. Appreciate you pulling up.
God bless.
Have a good night.
Brother Manny, appreciate